Okay, so I have all the knives forged out at this point. At the end of forging, I did a kind of a quick normalizing cycle just by heating them up kind of to the color of the forge. And then so that they don't build carbide, I tend to quench them in oil. I'm going to do that 3 times. Now I'm going to do the recommended annealing cycle. Before I do that, I just want to make sure these are all straight, so I grind all the edges so that I can see, because sometimes they'll hide behind the forging marks. And also to see if there's any cracks that I missed, which so far I have not found any. And the crack that I thought I was going to have to weld over in the tang, I ended up being able to grind out, so that's good news too. Now I'm going to the kiln. I'm going to run this at 1350 degrees for 7 hours, and then slow cooling. So I'm going to program that in now, let that run while I'm gone tonight, and then tomorrow I can start to get ready to harden these. I'm going to harden them, and then I'm going to go through the whole heat treat cycle, and then I'll grind afterwards. All right. So I bought some dry ice and set up a dry ice slurry before I set the kiln to run in a 3-step program. It's running up to 1100 degrees, at which point it turns the gas on. So it's an argon environment in there. And then it runs up to 1500 degrees, holds for 10 minutes to equalize everything. And then from there it goes up to 1950 degrees and holds for an hour. I took them out at about 30 minutes into the soak and quenched them in oil. I let them cool to room temperature, and then they went into the dry ice slurry, and they've been in there for a little bit over an hour. That should be negative 100 degrees or thereabouts. The dry ice is like negative 96, I think. It's an alcohol bath. In this case, I ran out. I couldn't find any isopropyl, so I ended up using Graves, which freezes at 170 degrees below zero. It actually worked a little better than the isopropyl did. It's not as slushy, so that might be what I do in the future. I'll take a picture of this. These are going to come out of here, and then they're going to come up to room temp. I'm going to let them kind of air warm, and then I'm going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees for the first of 3 temper cycles. I'll do 400, 425, and 450. That should give me about 60 Rockwell in Damasteel. So there we go. Stainless heat treat.